Hello, strong people. Week 5, day 2 of Northeast Regional Prep, Battle at the Bridge, deadlift day, and sandbag toss day. But deadlift day. No, I mean, it should be the other way around. Like, obviously, I need to be good at deadlift, but I've lost a lot of points on sandbag toss, so hopefully we don't this time around, I guess. It's really about all I need to say. I don't really have much else. I feel like there was something I was going to say. Oh, I brought out the pug shirt for this because I think I need a little bit of extra power. And this shirt automatically adds plus 10 strength. If I had to estimate, it's not, there's no science behind that, but it's just a guess. I haven't quite thought about experimenting with wearing other animal shirts just to see if they add a little bit more strength. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Anyway. Sandbag toss. So 6 sets of 3 over 16 feet. I don't think I can get my bar to 16 feet, actually. Whenever I got the PVC pipe and all that stuff, I didn't think about needing to go higher than 15 feet, which was it was stupid on my part, but what are you going to do? So I can get to like a little bit over 15, but because I set my PVC pipes down in the yoke, it rests on the pins, and whenever I put the pins up too high, there's not enough of the yoke left to hold the poles up, so they just they're all over the place. The smart people I've seen, they have big PVC pipes that fit over the yoke crossbars, or over the uprights. So they'll put the crossbar way down low on the ground to keep the uprights together, and then they'll put the PVC pipe on top. So it's way stronger that way. You're not going to break any PVC or anything, and that would be so much easier. Maybe in the future I'll upgrade, because that would be so much better. I need to do that at some point. I don't know. Won't worry about it for now. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I'm just really tired of throwing events, if I'm being honest. I like throwing, but I'm just not very good at it. Maybe if we had like a keg toss, that'd be cool. I haven't done that yet. I have a couple throwing kegs over there, and I've never shown you guys those. Just because there's no reason for me to. I don't have them in a show. So anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. Deadlift days usually take a while, especially when I got to wear a suit. So we'll get some sandbag toss in, and then we'll move on to deadlifts. I think it's I don't know exactly how many singles, but I believe it's so many singles between 730 and 770, maybe. So we'll be aiming for the top number, of course, but let's just get into it. All right, well, sandbag toss is done. And moving on to deadlifts. May have figured something out for sandbag toss. Um, it feels explosive. It feels strong. Because it's brand new to me. It's a little iffy still, but when it clicks, I feel like that sandbag just flies. You'll see the difference. The first couple videos versus the last few. Um, Before I was standing in one place and just doing it from there. I've seen a couple videos of people online, and I just never really put two and two together. I was like, I don't know if I can do it that way. Well, I gave it a try. I did it for a set. First two were didn't seem like I got much more out of it, if anything. But the third rep on that set, I feel like I threw that thing like 20 feet in the air. I don't know if it was 20 feet, but that was, it felt like it. I was like, you can, you can tell in the video. I look in the camera. I'm like, did we get something there? So then I did that the remaining sets, and it's still tricky to get down because you're adding more moving parts to it. So anytime you add a moving part to a lift, it takes time to adjust to it, get the muscle memory down, whatever. But I may just Hail Mary it and switch up my technique for these last 3 weeks. We'll see what my coach says. See if it's that drastic of a difference, and because there's a fine line here. I can throw a bag over, very consistently, with what I was doing originally. However, on the top end, when the bags get heavier, I can't get the height. So it doesn't matter if I can throw it perfectly over every time if you can't throw the bag high enough to clear it anyway. So, in my opinion, it might be best to do this new technique because I think I can get more height on it if I learn it and do it correctly. And because max weight over height is what I need, it might be the go-to. We'll see. Obviously, I just now kind of did it for the first time, so it's new. So we'll see. Anyway, I spent a little bit more time on bag toss tonight than I normally would, but I had possibly a light bulb go off. I also talked to my neighbor because we're supposed to be putting in a garage, and I had to do all the go by the law, get the gas lines marked and all that fun stuff, and gas lines, electric lines, whatever. And they came to do that today. And the main line goes in his yard. It doesn't connect to us whatsoever, so we don't have any main lines we have to deal with. Just the little lines going from the house to this shed to the next shed down to the wood shop, and so they marked them in his yard anyway. I just was like, he came over, checked them out. I was like, you can move those if you want. And he's like, no, they're not in my way. I'm like, yeah, we're putting in a garage, and we had them come mark the lines today, and I guess they wanted to mark them in your yard too. So, sorry, you can move them if you want. And he's like, oh, no, they're no big deal. And then without even worrying about that, he just started asking about, his next question was like, you going to try to go pro in that? And then he made some like lifting poses. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to. He's like, oh, that's awesome. I know you work crazy hard at it. And I haven't talked to this guy in 2 years, since like the first week or two we moved in. So that's kind of crazy. Made me feel kind of good. But yeah, he's like, oh, I hope I look for your name, all that stuff. I was like, that's cool. I love that. I hope so. That'd be really awesome if I made pro status someday. At this point, I've competed against pros, so it's possible. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Long road ahead. Anyway, it was cool that he recognized that and cared more about that than the markers in his yard. So shout out to my neighbor. Nice guy. All right, let's do some deadlifts. deadlifts are done. I am very happy with that. Very happy. After how the last couple weeks have gone, I wasn't too sure. Feeling a little funky with the suit. I'm trying to think of exactly how I positioned myself in the suit this week. I think sometimes the skin on my quads can get kind of bunched up in the center of the suit, in the crotch area, and it pinches and it hurts. And it's just not ideal. So I think today I was able to get my quads like the whole way through to where they were actually, the suit was sitting actually where it was supposed to be. So I wasn't pinching anything. It was obviously still tight, but there was no pain. No pain, which is great. So I was able to pull without really thinking about anything except pulling. Positioning was a little bit off. Maybe the first and third rep. First and third set, rep, whatever. They're all the same. But I'm happy with how those moved. Now, for those of you that don't really know or watch a whole lot of this stuff, which I don't know why you'd be following me if you didn't, but I'm glad you're here anyway. So I was using I have the 50 kg Rogue calibrated plates, and they're very thin for 50 kg plates. And then I used all my weighted out plates, which I just got another pair of those in, so I was able to do that. But what that changed is when you use, and this makes it's on a deadlift bar, so this is where this kind of comes into play. So the further out the plates are on a deadlift bar, the more whip you get. So if you have thicker plates and they're stacked the whole way to the end, you're going to get a ton of whip on that bar. And if you use it right, it can help you a lot. If you're a little bit explosive, a little bit, kind of erratic, it can bite you. But what I did today was I used the kilo plates, so having those on the inside, those make it a little bit stiffer. And then I stacked all the thin weighted out plates on after that. So there was not much whip to this. I remember, a few weeks ago I pulled I pulled 815 that one day. And it was, I felt like I could have done more, but it was also, with the plates like pushed out pretty far. So I was going one regular plate, one weighted out plate, and then repeating that. So it was stretched out pretty far, which I had to do because I didn't have any other plates. You got to use what I have to use what I have. So these 50 kg plates allowed me to only use my weighted out plates tonight, aside from the change plates on the side, but that doesn't change anything. So I minimized the whip on this bar, which is what I wanted because that makes it harder off the floor. And I believe we're going to be using some weighted out plates at the show. So this should feel pretty similar. And if you ever get the chance to pull on like calibrated plates versus regular plates, do it. And it's going to feel like 500 pounds on one is going to feel quite a bit different than 500 pounds on the other. So I don't know. I made it a little bit harder, and it moved better than last week by far. Lockouts weren't much of an issue. I think it's because I positioned myself better in the suit. I feel like I could have done reps at that. Not a ton, but a few. Maybe 3, 4 again, which would have been crazy. That's pretty cool. I wanted to so bad, and I just knew it's not in the game plan, so I held off. Of course, we have to make another jump next week, heavier. Oh, it's a bird. I thought there was a deer running across the hill over there. So yeah, we got to go heavier next week. It's not in the cards to go heavier tonight, even though I know I could have. It's not the point. That's not what programming is. So you don't change stuff. I'm pretty by the program. I don't do a whole lot of switching around unless something feels terrible. If something feels good, I leave it the way it is because to me that means it's working. If something feels bad, it could be me. It could be bad night sleeping, not hydrated properly, poor food, whatever. I try not. I'm usually very good about those things, but you can do all those things right and still have a bad day sometimes. It doesn't always make sense. So either way, I'm very happy with how that went. I have some RDLs next, so I've been out here a long time. It's going to be a late night. Not ideal, but whenever it's, 3 weeks out to competition, this is kind of how it is some days. Um, and I noticed that more with suited deadlifts just because it's, you got to put it on, you got to take it off, you got to get it. There's a whole lot. It takes longer to get ready with a suit. And I don't really like that. I'd rather just get in there, throw a belt on, and pull the bar. But we're allowed to use a suit. I want to get used to it for bigger shows, so we're going to use it. All right, on to the next exercise. All right, that's the end of today's deadlift session. Oh, I kind of sped through the last bit of that. I'm tired now. I definitely wasn't as gassed after deadlifts this week compared to last week. I obviously had like double the amount of singles last week, but they were just all more difficult than this week. So this workout took a long time. I took a lot more time on sandbags than I usually do. Plenty of rest in between deadlifts just because it's kind of what you need to do sometimes for those. And then a little bit less rest for everything else. So I'm tired. I'm hungry. I need to shower. And I'm ready to go inside. So very good deadlift day. I'm happy about that. I need to carry this into next week because I believe next week is the last heavy session. And then kind of a banded session, I believe. And then after that, it's the deload week before the show. So work is almost done. Oh, God. The last, 20 minutes or so kicked my butt. All right. Go inside, go out, get strong, stay strong, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.